It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
All right, go ahead, China.
I mean, I feel like I've my name is China.
How many shows have you been on at this point?
Or your shows,
Yeah,
or just
yeah.
I don't know. Like
Can't even count, right?
I can't count, but what am I? Am I regular? Am I panelist? What am I? What am I now?
Co-host.
What am I? I don't know, man. My name is China the Mandom's Voice, and yeah, I feel like everyone knows me. I just keep going viral every single day now, and yeah, it's shout out to all the blogs that keep posting me. Yeah, the Mandom's Voice. My name is China on YouTube and stuff.
So, China, I'm so glad you're here today.
Why is that?
I am so glad you're here. I actually decided that we're going to start the show with a certain clip that China sent me. So, China, how old are you?
Just turned 39.
Okay, so you're 39.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing this growing number of older men, right? Older, like around 30 or late 30s, early 40s that have never married.
No.
That have been, right? So you're 41,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're 30, 47, 39.
Yeah.
All of you guys never married. It's interesting, right? I know you married, but you got married later too.
Yeah, I got married at 42.
And so, a lot of times they ask the question to the men, why aren't you marrying these women? So why aren't you getting married? And China just had the funniest clip, where he really answered the question. Why aren't the guys marrying? Okay, go ahead.
Wow.
Why went there a riot? Why went there a riot?
Viral.
That girl's spinning around.
He chose violence.
I mean,
China, I think the first time I saw that, I cried laughing. That was so funny.
Where was that?
that was in Brixton in an event called Shout Out to Pod and Party, Noise and Banter. Yeah, that was the event, and I was a guest. And like you said, they asked me.
I got a question,
Go on, my
bro. How do you have the balls to do that in a full black? You know what I'm gonna say. Like say it. You do that in a full black environment with a whole bunch of black women in a black community, and have the balls to say that. But you was right.
Yeah,
you have some points of what you was making. Yeah. But that's some balls. That's some balls.
I'll be honest with you, Pearl was like, yeah, you're gonna need some security after that. Yeah, we're gonna need to,
I remember he was saying I should come to the next one. I'm like, oh God, me and you.
Yeah, I think
Omar's coming.
No, Pearl needs to come to the next one, but 100%, yeah, we're gonna have some security.
But
did you expect them to go that mental about it though? Because it seemed fair enough to me, really.
Yeah.
It seemed fair enough what you said.
I'll be real with you. I was gonna answer it completely differently. So, another lady was on a panel, and she from a podcast, from Nottingham, and she actually asked me a question: why aren't you married? Right? And I was trying to explain. So I was about to articulate why I'm not married, and explain all my friends, which are my age range, which are doing well, which are not married because of obviously what's going on. They wouldn't let me do that. They started heckling me. They started doing that thing in a room full of women. Oh, so why? So then I was like, okay, well, if you want, they don't want to get that chai. They want the menace chai. So,
but you went to the ends. You went to the ends of Brixton. What do you expect?
Well, the truth of the matter is we're in a post-marriage society. Most people just don't know it yet. I mean, they're predicting 50% of women at marrying age are going to be single and childless. And then on top of that, the 50% of women that do get married, half will divorce. So that leaves 1 in 4 that'll be with a guy at their old age. Like
what was going to be your other answer?
No, I've explained it before. Like, end of the day, look, so here's the thing, right? I can have accountability. I've made bad choices in the past with women. So that's the first start. I think men, but also for us men, we don't really probably get into marriage mind into your 30s, I think.
You know, I was literally
don't get into marriage at all.
I was literally thinking about this particular situation. You know, getting to my 30s, and I'm thinking like, yo, shouldn't I be having kids and getting married at this moment? You know, it hits into place. But then I think to myself, I don't think that marrying for men for love is the main priority anymore. I think that you have to marry for business. And once you think marry for business, then your perspective changes.
Women, I think like
well,
that.
you should have to marry.
Marrying for business is a bad business.
You should have to marry for love. You should be able to marry for love. But unfortunately, I mean, it's no surprise, is it, that dudes are getting married less? I mean, look at the laws. Look at how set against guys it is. And we take away. And the other thing as well is that, let's be frank, guys are programmed biologically to want to spread their seed. Okay. Now, I don't think that goes away with age, personally. So you've got to be very sure that the person that you're married to. No, seriously, seriously, man. Well, you know, so
me at 16 was completely different than me at 30.
Me at 16. I'm 47, exactly the same.
but Pearl, I feel like a lot of my friends want to get married. Like, you know me, I started this journey very, like I said, my three sisters are married, my brother's married, my parents married for over 40 years.
That's your culture, right?
Yeah, that's my culture.
Where are you from?
Cameroon. I want to be married. It's something.
Me too.
It's an ideal for me. I won't have babies out of wedlock. I don't deal with baby mamas. I've put that out there, right? And I've governed my choices by that. But at the same time, I also understand, like, men actually want to marry for love.
Yeah.
And that's what really messes us up.
Yeah.
Like, because we actually want to marry for love.
True.
Bro, you're 100% correct. But then when it comes down to the situation, you're sitting there, you're looking, you're like, after majority of men get married and then the divorce happens, it all comes down to the business. Oh, I own this house. You own that. The bank accounts. Now it's business. So that's why I say, you have to marry for business. You can't marry for love, or you'll lose.
You mean like marry with a business head?
If you're going to marry somebody, I would assume that the best way at this moment in time, because trial and error, most of the guys who sit down and get married at any age at this moment in time, once the divorce happens, it's like lawyers.
Why are you thinking about divorce?
Yeah, but what if a woman says
then the
that?
woman takes everything.
I'll actually tell you why they think about divorce, because the divorce rate is between 40 and 50%. Yeah. Dating, courtship before marriage has extended from average 6 months 100 years ago to 3 years today. So it takes you 3 years to get a ring, on average. According to Pew data, 63% of men under 30 are single, and roughly half of them have given up on relationships. And in divorce, women get custody 90% of the time. Only 20% of dads get weekly visitation. 27% of dads get no visitation rights. Yeah. So yeah,
the reason why it takes longer for the courtship phase now is because guys know that they've got to vet more properly. Because back in the day, like when my parents got married, it was pretty much, a fait accompli. You get married, you're going to stay together, that's it, kind of thing. Or certainly my grandparents. These days, because the divorce rate is so high and because of the way the laws are, the guy's got to be very sure that he's with the right woman, so he's going to spend a lot more time with that woman.
And do women divorce for good reasons typically?
No.
So I'm going to tell you. The most frequently cited reasons are trivial. They include things like emotional disconnect, irreconcilable differences, and lack of time together.
They only give away 7 reasons, though, while they're in marriage. You only get 7 reasons why you could divorce someone.
Yeah, and you would think they would be like, the big things like adultery.
But didn't you say, Paul? I saw the clip when you were on Piers yesterday. What was that? One of the women told a story about somebody who was 60 and she divorced her husband because she was like, oh, I haven't lived my life. I've only experienced life as a married wife and as a mother, and now I want to go out and experience life differently as a woman. I thought that was an incredibly sad story.
Oh, it's
because she's got to 60.
Common. Well,
she spent a lifetime with the husband, and then she's just like, oh, I want to do the eat, pray, love thing.
Oh, it's common. It's not. I'll say it's not uncommon. I mean, a lot of them just did the separation. They didn't divorce on paper, but there's a reason we're in this mess. There's a reason why the younger women are so lost. It's because I really think there's been 2 generations of shitty wives. Bad wives, bad mothers, yeah.
Depends.
Yeah, because what I see in the generation above us is they had very little wife skills. A lot of them tended to work. None of them really believed in obeying and submitting to their husband. So it's like us, we don't know anything. Then the generation before that tends to be women that stayed married. They might know how to sew, how to cook, but they didn't have the right mindset because the propaganda started really heavy in the 50s and 60s. And so they taught their daughters, no, you always have to have a backup plan. You have to work. And so you see like the generation above us, which I would say like 40 to 60-year-old women, I call them the generation of shitty wives. And the 60 to 80-year-old women stayed married, more so, but they just passed on like the bad mindset to their daughters. Yeah. And when I've interviewed 80 to 100-year-old women, which are less, they die, so they're less and less. But they seem to be a lot more like they believe in obeying their husbands. So it seems like we've actually had not one, not two, but 3 generations of shitty wives. Yeah. No wonder none of us are making it down the aisle.
But as well, if you're gonna get shacked up with, if you're gonna marry somebody, the whole thing that the trad thing that gets thrown at people when they argue against marriage a lot is like, well, you're gonna die alone, you're gonna be miserable, you're gonna be in your deathbed, and you're not gonna have anybody there, and all of that. But the thing is, if I marry somebody and then at 60, she thinks, oh, sod that, I want to go and sow my wild oats for the next couple of decades. I'm going to die alone anyway. So what was the point of it?
So when everyone laughed when I said, everyone got up and uproared. Oh my God, he said, who wants to marry you? But essentially, they thought that I was talking about the room. Mm-hmm. See, the room represents what's actually out there. A bunch of baby mamas were in there, and they didn't like the fact that I was telling them that, but you are, right? And it's going to affect what's going on, right? Then there's a bunch of women that are screaming and heckling me when I'm a guest and I'm trying to speak. These are all rude things. These are very masculine, unfeminine things, right?
Well, yeah.
So when I'm saying to them that, I'm not saying, it's because this room represents some of the women that, and for me, I'm seeing the women that I would want to be with, a lot of beautiful women in that room. Yeah. But when you attach the attitude or you attach all of it, I'm like, I'm a guest speaker, I shouldn't be getting this energy, but I will give the energy back. And because they're giving all of that energy, it just makes you just want to just send it right back. And you send it back in such a way that everyone's like, wow. And they feel it inside because, yes, nobody wants to marry you because we don't want to deal with this. And me as a man, I'll rather be a 40-something-year-old man that's got my stuff together with no kids and no baby mom.
Well, you have to understand, 100 years ago, the average guy got a virgin that was roughly 120 pounds that typically could help him, maybe like 100, 150 years ago, but typically was like helping on the farm. So she helped him with housework. She had all these recipes from scratch where it's like, today the average woman's 170 pounds. It's like we can't even do the like not fat thing. Like we can't even. That's like the bare. And then it's like the average woman slept with it between 5 and 8 partners, and this is, and everyone says that's low. So let's be honest, it's probably a bit higher. Like just based on what everyone says.
China, you made a really great point. About those particular character traits and those particular